Having done this for so many years, and I say this a lot in my videos about how long, because new people come on a channel and they say, well, what's this older guy talking about a retire early lifestyle? He doesn't look, so you got to give them a background and say, yeah, we've been doing this all our lives, and so therefore we have this long-term perspective in it. So analyzing all that to say that one of the biggest flaws of the whole ordeal is what causes people to literally just...
So Angelo made a couple of pizzas today in a little pizza oven. See what we got here. Look at that. And there's one in here.
Hey there, welcome back to Frank and Angie's Retire Early Lifestyle. As you know, we've been doing this for so long, pretty much all our lives, and so in our channel, we feel like we're offering a perspective of someone that has been doing this as a lifestyle all their lives, as opposed to maybe a lot of channels where people have just recently, maybe in the last couple of years or so, maybe jumped off a treadmill. So that's the perspective that we have here. So a lot of times I feel like I really kind of want to spend a little more time talking about that rather than where we live, or that the fact that we're abroad or not abroad, because the principles apply to us as a lifestyle regardless of where we are. I mean, you see things like what we do, whether we're living in Cuenca, Ecuador, or whether we're living in southern Italy, we do the same thing. But part of a huge foundational part of how we do things is to keep our expenses in check. But that's a different video. But today we're going to talk about the flaws of early retirement and the FIRE idea. I already made a video about this subject called What's Wrong with FIRE, and in that video I dissected the different aspects of the three legs of the stool of FIRE. FIRE meaning there's still a lot of people, you would think everybody knows what FIRE is, but there's still a lot of people saying, what's FIRE? Financial Independence, Retire Early Lifestyle. It's been made into an acronym nowadays, and there's lots of popular blogs and video YouTubers talking about it all the time. So with that perspective in mind of looking at it as a lifestyle from a long-term perspective, somebody that has longevity in it, and you see a lot of these discussions that go in a lot of different places, and you have this viewpoint of someone that's been living it as a lifestyle for many, many years. And so I'm able to look at it from that perspective and come to certain conclusions, right? The flaws of the way that things are looked at through a certain perspective of, you have to do it this way. Not everybody is going to do it the same way. But I'm also looking at it from the point of view is the advantages of doing it in a certain way than other ways. And these advantages, compared to what the typical, let's just call it, mainstream way of being financially independent and actually having a lifestyle, compared to that, it can seriously speed up your ability to get off the 9-to-5 treadmill and to live a more balanced life. And it also gives you an insight and perspective of having done this for so many years. And I say this a lot in my videos about how long, because new people come on a channel and they say, well, what's this older guy talking about a retire early lifestyle? He doesn't look, so you got to give them a background and say, yeah, we've been doing this all our lives, and so therefore we have this long-term perspective in it. So analyzing all that to say that one of the biggest flaws of the whole ordeal is what causes people to literally just stay on that treadmill thinking that they have to achieve. Now, look, if you're super, super happy with your life, Nobody needs to be coming on a YouTube channel or a video telling you, hey, you need to be doing something else. That's not what I'm doing. But if you're not happy with your life, if you just absolutely dread having to look at, just a long-term kind of scenario where you're just having to deprive yourself, and you've got all this deprivation and austerity going on in your life, and you have to just do all this sacrificing, and for what? So that later at some point in the future that you just can't even really see because it's so far away, and it's just demoralizing for you, then this conversation is appropriate. It all works together symbiotically in a way that people that have spent many years, because that's a perspective we don't have. We didn't spend many years depriving ourselves so we could achieve a goal or be in a certain spot. Instead, we just live the lifestyle all along. And so we look at this and say, you've got these people that have done this, and they've deprived themselves for all this time. And so they go you can predict, you can see how people behave. And you can see that they are full of enthusiasm and they want to do all these wonderful things that they've been depriving themselves for all these years. And I'm saying that the perspective eventually comes full circle, and people will fall right back in line with the balanced life principle. You see these people that, as example, they want to go travel the world. But there comes a time when even things that were on your list that sounded like wonderful things that you want to do because you weren't able to do all this time, we always can add things to our bucket list. That's what I'm saying here, is we can always have more things we want to do, and we don't necessarily get to all of them, which is just fine. Even if we only get to half of them, we're okay. But to come back full circle and to realize that if we can start on the lifestyle sooner rather than stay on an austerity plan, right, then we can start doing those things on our bucket list. Our perspective changes into that of achieving our happiness and achieving our balance and being able to stay on a trajectory, on a level that says that we don't have to necessarily suffer some of the things that people tend to suffer when they stay on an austerity and deprivation negative cycle. So we can bring positivity into our lives by looking at things from a different perspective. And one of those things is to become more entrepreneurial. Because, that's what we're talking about, is weaning ourselves away from the 9 to 5. And little by little, when we come full circle and we look at this the right way, from the perspective of experience, we see that just about most people do some sort of entrepreneurial, and everybody's different, so it doesn't have to be a particular way. It could be a side hustle, it could be something that you enjoy, a hobby that pays. It could pay you in different ways. It could pay you in more free time, more enjoyable free time. It could pay you in product or whatever it is, that the service that you provide or the product that you sell, that you consume it, and so you don't have to spend money on it.
Right here. Did you say it's Ripley?
Kind of Ripley, believe it or not.
That's Ripley.
Woo! From back in the old days.
Woo! Woohoo! I can feel the tide going out.
Run for your life.
I could feel like it was taking me out. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's kind of Ripley.
I was too far out.
Yeah, it's there's more flexibility into the fire idea than the flawed way of looking at it. And there's a lot of information out there being put out that's even big time guys that are just, oh, look at me, I made all these billions of dollars in 12 years. Well, that's a great accomplishment. It's something to admire, to say you've done a great thing, but you still had to go through 12 years of some sort of deprivation, some sort of austerity, some sort of sacrifice in order to do a thing like that. And all of the human costs, because there's human cost, which I won't go into detail, but there's not just a money cost or a time cost, it's a human cost that all comes back to our life and what it is that deprivation on us and austerity has caused in our lives. So there is a price to pay. And that's the big flaw that I didn't mention in the other video, that if you haven't seen it, go check it out. What's Wrong with Fire? I was one of the very first people that made a video like that. And now there's a lot of videos coming out like that, which is perfectly great. All right, so to be clear, super crystal clear, what is a big flaw? Even though there is more than one flaw, the main super big foundational flaw is being told that you are not ready to enjoy life. You don't have enough money. You can't withdraw enough money. You have to wait this many years before you can start enjoying life. That's the big, huge elephant in the room in the fire community. While it does affect different people to different degrees, still there are a large percentage of people that it does affect in a very bad way, in a very negative way, and it doesn't have to. And the big reason is because the focus is totally wrong. The focus is on money, but every single super successful person, if they're being honest about this, will tell you not to focus on a number. They will all tell you, and there are people that did this, so they know. You know, they have perceived that making sacrifices to reach a certain number seemed like the right thing to do, but that when they got there, they realized how empty achieving that goal really was and how unnecessary it was. And so help us out, push the like button and give us a comment below. Let us know what you thought about this conversation. Thanks for coming to our channel and have a wonderful day.